My dear students, today we are going to discuss about one more abiotic factor, that is light. Plants are dependent on sunlight for photosynthesis, flowering, growth, etc. Plants are dependent on sunlight for photosynthesis, flowering, growth, etc. Plants produce food through photosynthesis, a process which is only possible when sunlight available as a source of energy. Plants produce food through photosynthesis, a process which is only possible when sunlight available as source of energy. The word photosynthesis derived from Greek. Photo means light, synthesis means put together. The process by which plant cells prepare food from inorganic raw materials like carbon dioxide and water in presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. The process by which plant cells prepare food from inorganic raw materials like carbon dioxide and water in presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. Next is flowering. The act or a state of producing flower is called flowering. The act or a state of producing flower is called flowering. So we already discussed regarding the plant flower. Flowering is mainly depend on intensity of light in our previous first PU chapter, that is plant growth and development. So depending upon the requirement of intensity of light, there are three types of plants. First one is short day plant. The plants flower when they receive light below a critical day length. Plants flower when they receive light below a critical day length. Example, soya bean and tobacco, etc. Next is long day plant. A plant flowers after they receive light above the critical day length. Plant flowers after they receive light above the critical day length is called long day plant. Example, wheat, radish, etc. Next is day neutral plant. A plant in which flowering can occur irrespective of the day length. A plant in which flowering can occur irrespective of the day length is called day neutral plant. Example, cucumber, maize. Next is growth. Light directly influences the plant growth and flowering by inducing photosynthesis. Light directly influences the plant growth and flowering by inducing the photosynthesis. Next is sunlight is a source of energy. Sun is the ultimate source of energy for all living organisms. Plants need sunlight to make food through photosynthesis. This food is consumed by the animals and human beings. Sun is the ultimate source of energy for all living organisms. Plants need sunlight to make food through photosynthesis. This food is consumed by the animals and the human beings. Next, sunlight regulates diurnal and seasonal rhythm. Diurnal means when rhythm is synchronized with day and night cycle is termed as diurnal rhythm. When rhythm is synchronized with day and night cycle, it is termed as a diurnal rhythm. For example, diurnal animals which are activate during the daytime and they undergo rest during the night time. For example, humans, birds, pet dogs, etc. Next is seasonal rhythm. Several mechanisms allow living organism to adapt to seasonal variation. Several mechanisms allow living organism to adapt to seasonal variation in light intensity and duration is termed as photoperiodism. The photoperiodism can be defined as the effect of relative length of day and night on growth, development and behavior of an organism is called photoperiodism. The effect of relative length of day and night on growth, development and behavior of organism is called as an photoperiodism. Next, it is also affect the timing of their foraging. Foraging means searching for food. For example, the worker ants will search food during spring and summer. So they identify the spring season and summer season depending upon the intensity of light. The light is act as a biological clock for the organisms. My dear students, evening time will observe the birds are moving to their nest. It is because due to low intensity of light, they come to know now the time to move towards our nest. So the light is act as a biological clock. And reproductive. So some animals, they reproductive only in winter season, some during the summer season or some during the spring season. So it is also mainly depend on the intensity of the light. Migratory activities. During winter season, the Siberian crane birds, they migrate towards the Kilindo National Park, which is situated in Rajasthan, host for 1,000 migratory birds, which is coming from Siberia and cold northern regions. This is how light is act as a biological clock in the life of organisms. Next is light and temperature are interlinked because sun is a source of light and temperature. Yes, the light and temperature are interlinked because sun is a source for both light and temperature. Next is sunlight is absent in the deep part of the ocean. Sunlight is absent in the deep part of the ocean below the more than 500 meters. More than 500 meters, if you observe, the sunlight is absent in that region. Small plants such as herbs, shrubs growing in forest are adapted to photosynthesis optimally under very low light intensity. Because herbs and shrubs are covered by tall trees, so they will not get direct sunlight. So they are adjusted and adapted to the optimally under very low light condition. The UV components of the spectrum is harmful to many organisms such as UVC wavelength 100 to 280, it is lethal, and UVB, lethal means it is going to be leads to the death, whereas UVB is 280 to 320, it is quite harmful, it is more harmful compared to the UVA. So it will damages the DNA and causes the mutation and leads to the skin cancer, and it is also causes the snow blindness. So UVB damages the DNA and it is also causes the mutation and it will causes the skin cancer and it will leads to the snow blindness in the human beings. UVA 320 to 400 wavelength, it is moderately harmful. This is how the UV components of the spectrum is harmful to many living organisms. Now we are going to discuss about heliophytes. It is a strategy of adaptation in plant with respect to light intensity. Heliophytes, plants that are adapted to bright sunlight. So they are also called sun-loving plants. Phytes means plant. Example, mango, corn, etc. Cyophytes, the plants that are adapted to low light intensity. The cyophytes are also called as shade-loving plants. Example, sphagnum, polytrichum. Sphagnum and polytrichum, these are the example for bryophytes. So these bryophytes are shade-loving plants. These are belonging to cyophytes. Where heliophytes are they adapted to bright sunlight, sun-loving plant. Example, mango and corn. Phototropism, movement of a plant part in response to light. The movement of a plant part in response to light. The movement of plant shoot towards the light source. Last year in plant growth and development, we studied Avena curvature experiment. The coloptoil is moving towards the light. So that is what the example for phototropism. Photo means light, tropism means movement. Next is photonasty. The nastic movement that associated with change in light intensity. Nastic movement that associated with change in light intensity. That is opening of flower due to light. Okay. Next, one more biotic factor is soil. The study of soil in their natural environment is called as an pedology. Pedology is nothing but the study of soil in their natural environment is called as an pedology. Next is the study of influence of soil on living organisms, particularly plants, is called ediphology. The study of influence of soil on living organism, particularly plants, is called as an ediphology. Now whatever I discussed here is mainly meant for NEET, and these are important terminologies which are related to NEET examination. Abiotic factor, a soil. A nature of soil depend on climate. What is a climate? A climate is a long-term property of atmosphere. Climate is a long-term property of atmosphere. Temperature, precipitation influences the soil formation by providing biomass and condition for weathering. Then what is a weathering? Breaking down of a rock and minerals. Weathering is one of the process that leads to the soil formation. Weathering is one of the process that leads to the soil formation. It is the breaking of rock into fine particles as present in the soil is called as an weathering process. Next is sedimentary or transported. Then what is a sedimentary? Matter that settled at the bottom of the liquid is called as a sedimentary or transported. From the weathered material deposits which are transported by natural agents to new site away from the site of the origin. Weathered materials which are transported by natural agents to new site away from the site of origin is called as an transported. Soil development. Soil development development mainly depends on climate, topography and parent rock material. Soil development mainly depend on topography, parent rock material and climatic condition. Then what is an topography? Detailed study of earth surface or the structure of that particular area is nothing but a topography. Next, the type of transported soil determined by the agent such as wind, aeolian soil, water, alluvial soil, gravity, colluvial soil, snow and ice, glacial soil. I already said transported soil means which are transported by natural agent to new site away from the site of origin, means the weathered place. From the weathered place to the new site, it is going to be transported through the natural agents. That is called, they are divided into the types of transported soil. Such as if the soil is transported through wind is called aeolian soil. If it is transported through water, alluvial soil. If it is transported through gravity, colluvial soil. If it is transported to through snow and ice, that is called as a glacial soil. Heavy ice masses pushes glacial soil from one place to another place. Next is characteristics of soil, such as soil composition. It contains minerals 45%, organic matter 5 to 10%, water 20 to 30%, air 20 to 30%. Grain size, a particle's size. Grain size nothing but a particle size. Aggregation, compactly arranged or loosely arranged soil particles. Determines the percolation. Percolation is nothing but absorbing and water holding capacity. Along with parameters such as pH, mineral composition, topography determine to a large extent the vegetation in any area. My dear students, so the grain size, particle size, aggregation, whether they are compactly or loosely arranged, percolation, absorbing capacity. If they are compactly arranged, they will absorb. And when they are loosely arranged, they absorb fastly. And water holding capacity will be less if they are farly arranged. The particles are not compactly arranged, means the water holding capacity will be less. If it is compactly arranged, means the water holding capacity will be more. Along with these parameters such as pH, mineral composition, topography determines the large extent of the vegetation in any area. For example, black soil will take, which is rich in minerals such as calcium, potassium, magnesium, but has a poor nitrogen content. So in that black soil, the cotton will grow, tobacco, chili, ragi, these plants will grow well in this black soil. Next is sediment characteristic. Often determine the type of benthic animals in aquatic environment. Sediment means which is the soil composition at the bottom of the water. The soil composition at the bottom of the water or a benthos, which determines the benthic animal, the animals which lives at the bottom of the water bodies. These are called as benthic animals. So the sediment character or composition of that soil at the bottom of the water bodies will determine the benthic animals in aquatic environment. This is what regarding the soil. Next we move on to the exercise which is given in your NCERT textbook, page number 223. In that, among the red, green and brown algae, that inhabit the sea, which is likely to be found in the deepest water, and why, they asked. Among the red, green and brown algae that inhabit the sea, which is likely to be found in the deepest water, and why? So the answer is red algae are commonly found in the deepest water bodies as they contain pigments such as phycoerythrin that can utilize short wavelength blue light that can penetrate deeper than other wavelength of light. So the red algae are commonly found in the depth of the sea as they contain pigment such as phycoerythrin that can utilize a short wavelength blue light that can penetrate deeper than other wavelength of light.